I'm Tim.
I'm Gail, and you are chasing the Joneses.
Well, there we were riding down the highway, minding our own business when
we got stranded in the middle of Arkansas. But God had a plan. For those of you just seeing us, hi, I'm Gail and this is Tim, and we're not just full-time RVers, we are on a mission. We are taking the gospel of Jesus Christ to the millions of full and part-time RVers and nomads all around the country. We are literally nomads for Jesus. We've served all summer in churches and campgrounds up in Michigan, and now we're headed south for the winter, and we had a great plan. The plan was for the whole month of October, we would stop for 3 to 5 days serving and visiting different churches and friends as we made our way south. And the plan was going off without a hitch. In fact, we were even coming off of this major high, literally, because we had been in the Ozark Mountains serving with our friends at First Baptist Church of Lori in Missouri, and we had a great time of worship and serving and shopping.
What?
Yeah.
Shopping. Well, we crossed over the Ozark Mountains, and then we made a 2-day stop at Greer's Ferry Lake. Which definitely we really want to go back because we were parked right on the water. It was a really nice place. I mean, who knew?
Yeah, Arkansas has a popular scuba diving destination.
Right? I mean, just amazing.
We're coming back.
Wednesday morning we got hooked back up and we took and dumped our tanks and we put in our GPS coordinates just like we always do as we get ready to travel, and everything was going well. And then we felt this hard shift into 6th gear. I mean, it really kind of just hammered it. And it went downhill from there pretty quickly. The truck would not shift at all, and the temperature warning light came on. Although I was watching the temperature of the transmission, and the temperature of the transmission said it was fine, but this warning light came on saying that it overheated. Well, we got up to the top of a hill and we pulled over and we stopped for a little bit.
And I grabbed the owner's manual. So I'm reading what to do, finding it, like what to do when the transmission overheating warning comes on. And in the time it took me to figure it out, Tim had already done the stuff. And basically it just said we needed to reboot.
Right, so the truck reset itself. We started it back up and everything was fine, and we took off a few more miles down the road, and then we started another steep hill, and then 6th gear slipped and our RPMs went to 6,000 immediately, and it was crazy. The truck ended up in what they call limp mode. I was pressing on the gas all the way down to the floor, and it wasn't moving but 40 miles an hour. That's the top speed we could get. We stopped again, and this time it was in a lumber yard area where there was a big parking lot. So we just kind of pulled over there and shut the truck off, and we waited. And the manual said, of course, that if there is a problem, the limp mode will allow us to travel safely to a nearby mechanic. Well, we started the truck back up again, and it sounded absolutely fine, and we were driving, and when we got back on the road, it slipped again. And then I told Gail, make sure you find us a transmission shop quickly.
Yeah. And the cool thing about our GPS is that as we are we have our coordinates in where we're trying to go. So if you look for something, it shows you where things are on your route. So I mean, what good does it good is it if there's a transmission shop 40 miles the other direction?
Right, right.
So I type in transmission shop to see if there's anything between us and our next stop, which was Texarkana. And I see Straightline transmission, 0.25 miles on the right. Now, this is when this crazy series of blessings starts happening.
Yep.
Now, again, the shop is on the right. We're driving this big old fifth wheel and we're in limp mode. Since it's on the right, we don't have to cross over lanes of traffic to get into the left turn lane and then try to get in. So that was huge.
Well, the transmission shop had a full parking lot. But next door to it was the gas station. And we were able to pull into the gas station and pull up where I could park and walk into the transmission shop.
Yeah. Now we go in and the shop owners are believers. Although they had a 2-week backlog, he and a couple other mechanics came out to see if there was some kind of an easy fix that they could do to get us on the road. And then, as a huge surprise, the owner hooked up some computer or something, and then he and Tim went for a test drive.
Right. But you know how something's wrong with something, you take it in and it works. And so the truck was the same thing. And so we got into the truck. The owner was driving the truck. I said to him, you know, it's not going to do anything while you're in the truck. And so we started to drive, and we were going up a hill, and it was doing fine. It was just going right along, and then all of a sudden it slipped in 6th gear again. And he said, uh-oh, there went 6th gear, because he was looking on the computer while he was driving.
Right.
And 6th gear had just burned up right there on the spot. And so we're driving a little bit further, and then all of a sudden 5th gear goes out. So we turn around, we start heading back to the shop. 4th gear goes out.
It's official. We're broke down. Yeah. But the cool thing was, even then, we had absolute peace.
Yes, we did. And already, God had shown us so much favor. Like, this turns out to be the only transmission shop in the county where we could break down. And things after things kept going on. There was an RV park just 3 miles back, and it's big rig friendly, of course, so we were able to pull in a pull-through spot that they got us into, so we didn't have to back up, mess with the transmission, shifting and all that stuff.
Right.
And so we parked it, we set up, and then, of course, we took our truck back to the transmission shop.
Oh, but wait, so we pulled in and we're at Miller's RV Resort, and so stay tuned because we are going to be doing a review on this place because it turns out to be a huge blessing too. So we get back, and so we got to leave our truck, right? So the owner lets us borrow his truck until we could figure out if we could get a rental car or what. I mean, how awesome is that? And then he invited us to his church, New Life Church in Greenbrier. Yeah.
You know, when we bought that truck, we definitely bought we purchased an extended warranty on it. And this had turned out to be the biggest delay that we would have because the cost of that transmission, they had to send out an inspector and all that. It took a week for them to send that inspector out, which was eating up our days of reimbursement and expenses. I'm going to do another video on extended warranties and what you should look out for when you're purchasing a truck or an RV or extended warranties, because we just learned a lot of information about that.
Mm-hmm. So then we also had to notify the park in Texas because we're headed down to the San Antonio area to do a camp hosting assignment. So we had to let them know that we're delayed in reporting for that assignment. But even they have been so cool. They're like, you know, these things happen. We know you're RVers.
Right.
And so they've been really cool about that too.
And still, while we were here waiting the transmission to be rebuilt, I went to the shop and the owner explained everything. He had the whole entire transmission laid out on a table, and he explained the new parts that he was putting in. He showed me where the old parts were burned up, and he did this big walkthrough with me. And I can't tell you how much that's awesome because he didn't have to do that, but he took the time to do that. And so they got the green light from the extended warranty company. We gave them the green light on extra better parts that we would want in it.
Sure.
And so they're working on that transmission now, and in a few more days, we're hoping maybe today, tomorrow, we get back on the road.
Yeah.
You know, being broke down is not a fun thing. But if you have to be broken down, you want to be broken down in Greenbrier, Arkansas, because this is a small town, but it's been an awesome place for us to be there. And I remember one person said, you know, being broken down here is just a God telling you you're going to take some time of rest. And that's what we've done since we've been here, is rest. And we have done some shopping, and we have gone to all kinds of
antique shops and flea markets.
They got a whole bunch of them here.
Right.
And so if you're ever traveling through, this might be a good destination for you.
It has. It's really been good. So we learned a few things. Of course, we've known these things, I guess I should say, since we first got on the road. Because when we first started, way back in 2020, we had our itinerary all set up. And we put a big asterisk that said, subject to change by the Lord on no notice.
Yeah,
and that happened.
Right. And I tell people all the time, it's, you know, we plan out to go to these different places and these things, do these things and stuff like that. But it's not our plans. It's God's plan.
God's plan.
And so when He puts us in a position where we have to stop for a few moments or whatever the case may be, I mean, listen to me. We got broke down in front of the transmission shop. What better place to be broken down with a bad transmission than right in front of a transmission place? I mean, that was amazing in itself. I can't tell you how much peace we had in that thought.
Right.
And even though he began to talk about it was 2 weeks long, we were really blessed because it's been about a week and a half, but it's the extended warranty people who have been the slow down on it. So.
A couple other things we've learned when these things happen, because they are going to happen. Stay calm. You know, our attitude when we walked in the door, or actually your attitude when you walked in the door of Straightline Transmission, set the tone for how they were going to treat us. So if he had gone in there all mad, mad at the world, and mad that they had this long backlog, that would have changed how Caleb, the owner Caleb, had treated you.
If I would have been in there yelling and saying, "You don't understand. We're supposed to be in Texas tomorrow, and we need this transmission fixed right now."
Yeah.
We would still be waiting.
Right.
Because he wouldn't have taken us in so quickly. And one of the great things about it is that when you act nice to other people, especially when you're in a situation where you just can't help what happened, they in turn are nice to you.
Right.
And so when he gave us this truck to use until we got a rental car, that was amazing. He didn't have to do that, but he did that. And the reason why is because we walked in and we pleaded our case and we said who we were, and he just did everything he could. In fact, he said, "I will call some of my local people and I'll ask them if I can move them out a week so that I can get you in and get it done."
Right?
I mean,
I just remembered the rental car. This was another huge, we always say, #favor. We rented a car, made the reservation, and then we drove down so we could give Caleb back his truck. We get there, and sweet young ladies said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't actually have any cars available. Even though it looks like it on the corporate site, we are this sort of a contractor. I don't even understand how it was. And so we don't have cars. When we get your reservation, we'll call and tell you when to come and get your car."
Yeah, because they go out and find the car wherever it is.
Yeah.
And bring it or something.
They're totally at the mercy of when people bring them back. And so I looked at Tim, we just looked at each other, we're just smiling like, that's kind of crazy, but okay. And so then we both turn and look at the lady working, and she says, "Well, actually, a little while ago, this person turned in a car, and we weren't expecting it. So, if you don't mind, it's not cleaned out yet, but you could have it." We're like, okay. Yeah. And she's like, "It's not the one you wanted, so it would be an upgrade, but we won't charge you." And we're like, okay. And as we're doing the paperwork, we hear because one of the young ladies at Hertz is out there vacuuming the car out anyway, and I'm like, you don't even need to do that. Well, we want to do what we can. I mean, things like that just keep on happening here, right? So Tim always says to what you do next in a rough situation will tell everyone around you what you believe about God, what you truly believe about God. And so when the breakdown happened, we just went, okay, God wants us to be in Greenbrier, Arkansas. Let's see what happens.
What
right?
do you do? You don't get you. First of all, don't get upset about the situation. I mean, all you're doing is raising your own blood pressure.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. Number two is you got to be nice to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing, I think, the third takeaway is this: is that when you're in a strange place, it's important to meet some local people,
right,
and talk with them and share your story with them, and then they end up blessing you anyway.
Right.
You know, and so it's just been a, if you're, I'm just going to say it again, if you need to be broken down somewhere, come to Greenbrier, Arkansas, and get broken down here. Because this is a small town, but it is a mighty little force and great place.
Yeah.
That's it for us. We'll be on the road soon, a couple days.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back on the road, so we're excited about that.
We are on the road again. All right.
Anyway, I'm Tim.
I'm Gail, and we'll see you
Down the road.
Bye.